Good morning. Welcome back to my channel. I am out and about. It's freezing here in the United Kingdom, or the United States of Milton Keynes, as I like to say. Yes, I am wearing the jumper I was gifted on my first day at my last 9 to 5, which was great for all of 5 weeks. 5.5 weeks actually, to be clear, but it's a very nice jumper. It's very warm. It's like lined with, I don't know what the lining is, but it's lovely. It's like I'm wearing a duvet. Anyway, I was thinking about what I want to talk about today, and I think I want to talk about death. At the risk of sounding morbid, I want to talk about death. And I want to talk about it in the way it's affected me personally. And by death, I don't mean just like actually dying. Well, yeah, not just the dying part as a human being, but I think I want to talk about like death and how it affects human beings. Well, me anyway. And how it has shaped my life and how I live and stuff like that. So I experienced death at a very young age. The first death I experienced was the loss of my mother at age 11, which, well, everyone says it, but it's true. You kind of never really recover from it. Sorry, it's one of those mobile sandwich delivery people, because it's apparently lunchtime somewhere. So they have to blare their silly music so that the employees can come out and buy their sandwiches and salads and whatever. So I experienced death at a very young age, and I've never recovered from it. I actually have a mental health condition called Depersonalization, which I was only officially diagnosed 5 years ago, but I've had it since I was 13. And the best way to explain it is like, when you've had a traumatic experience, your brain tries to protect you. So we always talk about fight or flight, but there's a third one called freeze. So fight, flight, or freeze. I can never say that too fast because then I bite my tongue. So flight, fight, or freeze. So when you freeze is when your brain sort of cocoons itself to protect you, because anyway, and then it puts it in this safe place, and then everything else you do is on autopilot. And for me, the way it has manifested itself is like, even now I'm doing this is why I always watch my videos back before I post them, because I don't really kind of know what I'm doing or saying, because obviously there's clearly no script. And so I always feel like I'm in a dream. So everything I've done up until now, 34 years on, I feel like I'm in a dream. And I think YouTube is fantastic. Again, I've always said that I learned so much from YouTube. YouTube is what actually helped me to diagnose myself. And then I was able to one of my friends that I confided in that same day I diagnosed myself was, I think she was a psychologist. And I got an emergency appointment with her, which was free actually, like 30 minutes. I remember I didn't pay for it. And she was so gracious, and she was amazing. And then she kind of told me what I needed. So I did get proper help. And so I did therapy for 4 years, and but before therapy, I had to see a clinical psychotherapist who was meant to wire me up to some machines to do the proper testing. But because it was COVID, It was a Zoom call, and I think we were on the call for over 2 hours. And because I couldn't be disturbed because of how he was going to do it, I did it in my car. I recorded it, I believe. I think it was recorded, but I haven't watched it back. And when he sent me my diagnosis, it was 10 pages, I believe. And I was diagnosed with 6 different things, which all relate to childhood trauma, PTSD, and anxiety, all the other stuff. Anyway, and then he handed me over to a psychotherapist, Dr. Sue, who's one of my BFFs, and I was with her for 4 years until the I think I took a break when I was pregnant. Yeah, with my daughter, I took a break because I just didn't think to do it then. I just took a break. There was just so much going on. I was at the risk of another redundancy at that time. So anyway, and yeah, and the only reason I stopped doing therapy regularly is because my private health said they couldn't keep paying for it, because this was like they don't know when I'm gonna wake up from my dream, because like I said, I feel like I'm constantly in a dream. That's how my DPDR, that's the short form, that's how mine manifests. And I've done quite a lot of research on YouTube, because again, that's my favorite place to be. There's not a lot, I've not really seen a lot of people talk about DPDR the way I have it. And I know everybody's different. There's this charity called Unreal that have been super helpful, and they have sessions you can join. I think it's I don't know how often it is, but there's like a finite number of people that can be in the session, and there's quite a few good housekeeping rules when you do join the sessions. And I joined one, and then the next one I was going to join, because each time they tell you what they're going to talk about, I realized that I was getting triggered more and more. I wasn't it was really nice to see other people that had it and to listen to their stories. And when I say story, because you couldn't say on that platform, you couldn't say how long you've had it, what caused. You couldn't talk about anything that led to it. You could just talk about how you're managing it and this, that. They'll give you different pointers, and it wasn't helping me as much as I think I should be helped, right? But this was me looking for something like to replace therapy that was like more manageable, but it wasn't really helping. So I kind of I don't subscribe to them anymore, but I still go on their website and I read their stories, and people that have had it for different lengths of time, and a lot of people that have come out of it, but whatever. But I say all of that to say that me having been affected by a death of someone so close to me. I mean, nobody's closest to you than your mother. And I lost her just when I started getting to know her. So, and she was my best friend. She was the only person that knew me inside out. She was the only person that she could look at my face and know exactly what I was feeling, what I was thinking, or whatever. And she helped to explain a lot of complex things to me at the time, and she would do it in a way that I would get it, but I wouldn't feel, especially when your parents' marriage is broken down. She would do it in a way that she wasn't playing the victim, and she wasn't painting my dad in a bad light at all. But anyway. And since then, I think my relationship with death is very okay. It kind of made me, over time, it's made me feel comfortable with death, having experienced that so young. And I see death now as a way of resting and going into the next thing. Life is hard. We know life is hard. I mean, yes, it's hard, and I'm very lucky that with everything I've experienced up until today, I'm very grateful, and I count my blessings that I don't live in a place where there's war or there's natural disasters or something, So I thank God for that every single day. Um, but the thing with dealing with death sometimes is that you don't, it's not like you don't have a desire to live. You do, but you kind of then have to navigate life completely differently. So, and then you realize that death comes in different forms as you get older. So, a type of death is a loss of a job, which is what got me here on YouTube. A demise of a relationship is a sort of death. So it's like there's like little deaths every time there's like a life situation, and again is how you rise from it that is very, very important. And I actually am thankful for having DPDR because it helped to protect me. So I could survive. But the problem now is, or the problem was 5 years ago, that I wasn't I was still, there's parts of my brain that was still the 13-year-old that looked at me as an adult as a completely different person. I was like two different people in how I used to think. And I remember one thing my therapist said was like, gee, look at all the stuff you've achieved on autopilot. Imagine what you could achieve if you were actually fully conscious. And she did say to me from the start of our sessions that the only way I'm going to wake up, as I call it, because I thought I'd just take a pill and I'll be awake, red pill, blue pill. And she said the only way you can do that, and someone else has said that to me as well, is I have to decide within myself that I was ready to come back into my body, which I'm learning how to slowly. You do grounding exercises, you do breathing, you do this. I've even done horse therapy. I'll explain that later. So my BFF horse is called Joey, but I call him Mr. Joey. And he's lovely, he's beautiful. And this is me that was petrified of horses. So, yes. I know my main thing I want to talk about today was about death, but I know that it's such a heavy topic that I need to actually sit down and do a proper script on. But I just wanted to say to anyone going through the death of anything or the demise of anything, because I know the word death is very death just means the beginning of something else. Death just means the end of something, the beginning of something else. And as long as you have breath in you, as long as you have life in you, you'll be fine. You absolutely be fine. Cry all the crying. Shout, scream, do everything, blame everybody, but give yourself a deadline for doing that. Like all my close friends that have gone through something that is quite traumatic for them, I just said, don't bottle everything in, because the last thing you want is for your brain to protect you and go into this freeze mode where you then feel like you're on some sort of pause while something like you're waiting for, like, it's just one life. Just live. And I think that's one thing, definitely having been impacted by a loss so young has made me just live. I just take every day as it comes and I live. In fact, my prayer to God, and I'm going to sleep, is, okay, God, if it's time, please take me in my sleep, or I want to be, what was I describing to someone yesterday? I was talking to my friend yesterday. I can't remember what I told her. But I was just saying like the ways I'd want to go, because I just don't want any pain. I don't want to be in any... Oh yeah, I was saying to her, hi Sarah. I was saying like, if a meteor, is that what they're called? Or asteroid? One of those things that falls from the sky. If it were to just hit where I am now, it's instant. Okay, I'm gone, right? But there was no accident. There was no natural disaster, because I'm not supernatural. There's no pain. It's instant, and no one's to blame, that sort of thing. So, I go in my sleep is one of those two. That's just how my brain works. I find the funny in everything. Humor. If I was not humorous and I haven't learned to love my own company, I wouldn't be here. I would not be here. So I will leave with this because I'm trying to get these things quite short until I learn how to edit videos, which I am looking forward to learning. I've got a laptop now, so I can actually edit because my PC is so old. It takes 10 minutes just to turn on, like fully turn on. Yeah, a loss of anything is not the it's not the end. It's the end of that, and it's the start of something else. But you have to acknowledge it. You have to go through your emotions. You have to go through whatever feelings you need to get through, and then move on to the next, whatever the next thing is. Okay. And on that note, I will leave you. I'm gonna go home now and apply for some more jobs because I have decided again, and I'm a woman, I can change my mind, to go look for 9 to 5, but definitely contract and interim. And while I'm working on my empire building, because that's what I'm doing now. So it's Friday. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'm gonna film my video CV next week. So next week my post should look a bit more glamorous, and I'm gonna try and get back to filming things. Quite a few episodes, so I have something to post daily. Okay, have a wonderful weekend. Whatever you're doing, stay safe, stay well, take care of yourself, breathe, and remember, it's not the end, it's just the beginning of something else. Okay, all right, peace and love. And if nobody said it to you today, I'm very proud of you, and be very proud of yourself. You're doing it. You're doing it real and raw. You're doing it, but be proud of yourself. All right. Bye.